Hi everyone, this is Amy or LittleSurprisesYT, and today I have a UV resin demonstration of a UV resin that I got from Banggood.com. So this UV resin I have is a 200 gram bottle, which is one of the larger bottles for UV resins, and on the back it tells you how to cure it. So this is in Chinese and I can't read it, but on the Banggood.com website they have it in English. Basically, under a lamp it takes 2 to 4 minutes to cure, 5 to 10 in direct sunlight, and 20 to 40 on a cloudy day. They are hosting their 11th anniversary sale, which they promote every single year at the end of summer. So I will put the link down below, as well as a coupon code that you can use for $5 off orders of $50 or more. So for this Wash Me resin, I am making some cat lantern charms, what I call Caterns. These are fundraising charms that I'm making specifically for a cause I'm going to talk about at the end of the video. But first, I made a cat head shape out of scrap clay. I made a mold out of silicone, and then here is an epoxy resin cast that I did, and it turned out pretty well. So now I'm going to show you how I use my mold with UV resin to see if we can get similar results. So again, this one is the epoxy resin, and I also want to mention that even though you're using UV resin, you should still be wearing gloves. If you don't want to wear full-size gloves, I have these digit or finger gloves that I can put on just my pointer finger and my thumb. So here is the bottle of the UV resin. It does not have a nozzle, so I am pouring it into a smaller medicine cup so that I can mix in my glow-in-the-dark pigments into it. So as you can see, it is very clear. I do notice there is an acidic smell to it. It's a little more chemically than the other UV resins I use, but it doesn't bother me too much. If it does bother you, I recommend that you wear a face mask that you can get from the dollar store. Next, I am mixing in some of my glow-in-the-dark powder pigments. I got these from eBay, and I don't have a specific seller that I go to because I buy like from eBay, AliExpress, as well as Etsy, just to see what kind of glow-in-the-dark powders there are from different sellers. So I'm using my toothpick to kind of put in some resin into the ears to prevent any bubbles, and then I'm slowly pouring in my UV resin into my mold. I do recommend that you use UV resin for doming and not for larger casts, because UV resin is more expensive than epoxy resin. So I also recommend that instead of using a lighter, you use a craft heat gun, because lighters are not good with silicone molds. It can damage it. After 4 minutes in my UV lamp, I do feel that this is pretty hot, so I would recommend you keeping your piece to the side for a minute or two before demolding it. And I also noticed this is not sticky. This is one of the most important factors for me when I use UV resin, because I noticed that some UV resins are pretty sticky, and in comparison with the epoxy resin, it came out pretty nicely. So here I am actually casting 2 more of these UV heads on camera. So I'm going to do another casting with some pink glow-in-the-dark powders and then white later on. Like I said, you should let your piece cool on the side before demolding it, because it can get pretty hot. UV resin gets hot just like epoxy resin can. And here it is unmolded or demolded, and it is not sticky at all. I love that it's not sticky. And I'm doing one more casting with my white glow-in-the-dark powder. I don't have any complaints whatsoever using this UV resin. I guess one of the complaints may be the smell, but I think depending on which brand of UV resin you use, there may always be a smell. The ones that I use from Japan usually aren't very apparent, and so I kind of like that a little better. Here it is demolded once more, and here are all of the cat heads that I made. To finish this off, I did add in the details with polymer clay, and before doing so, I used my blade to just cut off some of the scrap pieces that were left over from my mold. Now, another thing that I want to mention is the price of this UV resin. It is $20 for this 200 gram bottle, which is a lot cheaper than getting one of these other UV resins that are 25 grams. I've seen prices from Hong Kong, from the US, and from Japan running these 25 gram bottles for between $12 to $18, and you're getting this 200 gram bottle for the same exact price, and you get 8 times the volume. So I definitely recommend trying this out from Banggood. Now, if you decide that you don't need a 200 gram bottle or it's too big, you can start off smaller. So a smaller bottle, the 25 gram, is $4, and as you go up in size, then it's $9. $12, and then $20. It is also free shipping to the United States where I live, so definitely consider that as well. So here are all the Caterns that I made, and these I did for a fundraiser that I am promoting with my graduate class. It's called the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in relation or in collaboration with Light the Night Walk. And if you want more information on that, I will put a little caption in the description box below of the fundraiser that I am running with my class. And these are all available for purchase on my Etsy. So if you have any other questions about Banggood or about these cat lanterns, let me know down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Banggood's 11th anniversary sale.